Do we look at the majority of the people's decision, or we look at the technicalities, in choosing our leaders in Nigeria? Is it right?
I don't think the average Nigerian will be convinced for a long time.
Is it the governorship candidate that should suffer the consequence of that?
You cannot remove technicality from the province of a judicial pronouncement.
Welcome to Noble TV Live. Today we're actually focusing on Kano State, where there have been reports of not just conflicting verdicts, but also intentions of political parties to actually protest. One protesting against, one protesting for. Though the thing has been shelved, but the issues are not yet resolved, at least in the minds of Nigerians. Well, whether they have been resolved, I don't know. That is why I have invited a man that you would like to hear from to tell us whether those issues have been resolved and how they are impacting on Nigerians generally and Kano State in particular. As I have a great honor to help me dissect this matter.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, you have what I just said. Kano State, the electoral tribunal, after the governorship election, declared that actually the incumbent governor, did not win the election. The reason for that, maybe you tell us later. And the appeal also confirmed the lower court's judgment. Only for Nigerians to hear also, or to observe differently, that the certified true copy of that judgment was not along the line of the pronouncements of the judges. So your reaction and your take on these matters?
Generally, the embarrassment to governance has to do with the relationship between the events in one fell swoop. First of all, the tribunal's verdict, with regard to the plea, the application, sought by the relevant party, affirming clearly that the incumbent, that's the NMPP governor, did not actually, win the election, which I'm sure must have shocked the public, because somehow people reflecting on what actually did happen that day, the gubernatorial election, will be surprised, because there appears to be a reasonable statistical window between the performance levels of APC and that of NMPP relative to PDP. So, as if that was not enough, about settling the embarrassment proceeding from that kind of misstatement or discrepancy. The issue about the certified true copy, the content of the certified true copy, will remain something, is subject of analysis, embarrassment, and the need to actually clear the audience tables about the judiciary for law students in future. The content of the CTC, the syntax of that statement clearly indicates that it is not what the appellate court decided that was the issue, because the verdict was actually awarded to the incumbent only for not up to 24 hours the panel to issue something like a follow-up, a contradictory follow-up, that what the world thought is the issue is actually not, because it has been termed in a typographic error. In other words, that statement, the statement inscribed in that clause that the incumbent actually did win or awarded to him was a typographic error. So the implication of this is that how could a typographic error, how could it have dominated the text of a very sensitive write-up issuing from a sensitive organ of government, the judiciary? So it is something that, I don't think the average Nigerian will be convinced for a long time. It's a challenge, it's a moral challenge to the judiciary to actually prove that the relationship between the two stimuli, can be harmonized. That is, the tribunal's verdict and then the certified true copy. The certified true copy is like holy writ in the judicial circle. It is revered so much so that it cannot be temporary.
Yeah.
So if that holy writ of the judiciary becomes a subject of debate because of unnecessary dispute, then some kind of sharp practices must have resulted, and they are not a good report card for the judicial, organ of government.
And away from there now, even the appellate court, the chief registrar, in his reaction said it is not unusual for typographical errors like this to occur, and therefore the noticed discrepancy now in the document, notwithstanding that the appeal court is still standing by its verdict.
Yes.
Now the verdict now, according to the appellate court now, is that the APC governorship candidate is actually the winner of that election.
Yes.
Now, but if you look at the reasons why, or one of the reasons why the appellate court and the tribunal, is saying that APC actually won the election. One of the reasons is because the voters, what do you call it now?
Overvoting.
No, not overvoting. This thumb printing. This thing was not stamped. About
not verified.
Not verified and stamped by the officials of INEC.
Yes.
And because of that, now they were able to single out all those ones that were not stamped officially.
Yes.
Removing them now from the system, gave an upper hand to the APC personnel who now wins the election. Now the question I want to ask you now is, if INEC on their own refuse to or fail to stamp or sign a document that ordinarily should aid the electoral process, is it the governorship candidate that should suffer the consequence of that? Because the people actually voted for this man. It's just that INEC did not do the needful by signing.
Yes.
Is it the man? Is it right for this governor, NNPP governor, to actually suffer the consequence of this lapse from INEC?
He should not. That issue, that observation compounds the thick cloud of doubt, embarrassment, and a near clear case of deceit around the whole development.
Okay.
Verification of the collated copy ought not to be something within the circumference of.
I was trying to remember ballot paper.
Ballot paper,
ballot paper that was not signed. Yes.
That's a collated ballot, because it's only ballot papers that are subject to collation.
Yes.
So if that ballot paper is not verified, it is not the gubernatorial candidate's prospect that should suffer.
Yeah.
The prospects of the incumbent, that's the gubernatorial candidate, ought to be, distanced from an administrative problem in which ballot, materials are not verified. Because to affix the stamp is evidence of verification, and from no other authority than Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
Yes.
So that discrepancy ought to have even informed the panel at that appellate jurisdiction level that these things, these gray areas, should actually come into the offing. They should come to the front burner, so that front burner implies that the whole thing is enmeshed in doubt and uncertainty. Something enmeshed in doubt and uncertainty ought not to, become a subject of clarity in the so-called certified copy.
Okay.
Probably the CTC, betrays these discrepancies. But because politics and law have a very difficult relationship in the Nigerian system of governance, it's quite embarrassing and rather, astonishing that the CTC, which ought to bail everybody out of any doubt, has now become a subject of controversy. That's it. So it simply tells you that the failure of INEC to verify the ballot paper ought not to actually infringe on the gubernatorial prospects of the incumbent.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Now, finally, as it is now, the appellate court, has stood by its verdict.
Yes.
And the incumbent governor now, Yusuf, is also going to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
And in fact, he is insisting that the Supreme Court should uphold the document,
yes.
The CTC, as it were now, certified copy, amongst others.
Yes.
Now, the question again is, all these issues of nullifying election or affirming elections based on technicalities,
Yes.
is it right? Because the people, for example, now, if the people, if you go to court to argue about the number of persons that voted for me against the number of people that voted for you, some persons are saying they can relate to that.
Simple majority principle.
Yes, but now you are relating with a situation where majority of the people voted for me, all of them voted for me, and then maybe a very few voted for you.
Yes.
But you now want to take the position because of one person or two persons who actually wrongly did something. Is it right? Do we look at the majority of the people's decision, or we look at the technicalities, in choosing our leaders in Nigeria? Is it right?
If something comes within the mainstream of expertise and professional skill, it is actually difficult to trivialize it and bring that thing within the layout of probability. Judicial pronouncements are usually rooted in technicality. Yes, the czars, the emperors of the judicial may say, okay, please want to dispose of this issue, so please, gentlemen, maybe addressing lawyers hypothetically, don't bring up any technicalities. It is self-contradictory, because the judicial officer is known for, he is associated with a profession that places a high premium on professional skill and professional matters. And professional matters normally lie within the province of what you call practice sophistication. That's the law. The law is about practiced sophistication. You cannot remove technicality from the province of a judicial pronouncement. So that's why it's a difficult situation.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Viewers everywhere you are, and this is where we are drawing the curtain now, and you also have your own view about this issue in Kano State. Gray have just submitted that the law as a profession also relies so much on technicalities in arriving at conclusions. And therefore, if it is possible for politicians to avoid going to court in order for us or for Nigerians to actually have the people that they actually voted for having their ways, as leaders, the earlier the politicians, stop going to court to seek the consent of the court, the better for Nigeria. But because the moment you go, the courts don't have any option than listen to lawyers from their technical points of view. So thank you for being there, and hoping that when we come again, you will be one of the first people to actually hear us. And the only way, or one of the ways you can do that, is by clicking on the notification button. But before you click on the notification button, you should at least, like what we have just discussed, share, and of course, make your comment available for others to also see. Thank you for being there. I remain Augustino Milo, and I have been with Gray Amona.